How's it going, everybody? It's your host, Matt 10. How we been, everybody? It's been a minute. I know I try to get videos out and whatnot, but sometimes it's not just about content with me. You know, at times it's really about just producing good actual reactions and gameplay, you know, and I've had opportunities of that. I mean, you've seen my PES 2021 videos. I've definitely released those, and I've loved that Master League. Need to get back into that. It's just life gets in the way sometimes, you know. 3 kids, you know, wife. It's a lot of work, working full time, you know, just like all of you guys watching. But it's just one thing after the other. But I'm, you know, at this point, I'm just gonna put out content the second I can, because if I wait for a whole production and, you know, edit the crap out of it and everything like that, I mean, it just won't come out. You know, you won't get anything from me. It'll take a long time. Like, I've got projects that are sitting in the editing queue and that are just, you know, have been delayed because I don't want to deal with, you know, lower thirds, overlays, etc. So from now on, I'm just gonna get you guys some content, you know, because I really do have some things to say, some input. And of course, today input is on eFootball 2022. Is that what we're calling it? If you guys watched, and I'd like to bring this up as well, the Footy United podcast, if you haven't checked that out already, our most recent episode is in the description below, but definitely check it out, because there's a rift right now among the community of, you know, PES changing its name, or see, there you go, calling it PES again. And changing its name is one thing, but if you change something, that's fine. I get that you're going to change the brand for the brand's sake, but that also shows a misunderstanding of where the community lies. The community isn't just about the name in that sense, but it's about what we are all going through together, how we're all suffering together. Because, you know, make no mistake, the change to the mobile platform, to the perceived Unreal Engine, I mean, those are great thoughts and the great intent, but it's hard to imagine the community was in mind during this time. And so when you think about the community, I mean, like the hardcore community, you have to think about, like, what are we sacrificing, or what do we have to anticipate that we're going to be sacrificing? For me and this channel, it's always about realism, right? Always about realism. And if it comes to the point in which realism is going to lose the priority, it's always going to be an issue with me. And so that brings us to the point of watching this leaked footage, right? Let's emphasis on leaked. I mean, from what I can tell, it looks at, you know, somewhat complete. I don't know what they could even fix other than some, you know, graphics or kits, or, you know, mud stains, or whatever it is they want to look at. But from a gameplay perspective, I'm really curious what else can be done. I think if you even think about tactics, assuming there's no tactics set up on this early leaked footage, in the past, Konami's not been good about tactics, so I can only imagine what that will do. There's a lot of things that I'm not happy with in this footage, so it's the hope that kills me, and I'm hoping that this isn't final. But I'll be perfectly honest with you guys, with the way eFootball is going, like, I think this will be just the status to be used to. This will be the expectations. And maybe if you lower those expectations, maybe, you know, maybe you'll be surprised. Who knows? But let's jump into this video. I'm going to play it through and just react to it. If I see something, you know, I'm as if you guys are right here in the quote-unquote studio with me. I'm going to rewind and we'll talk about it and go from there. But let's go ahead and get into it. So we're going to make sure to mute this, just because you never know with what's going on. But you know, in terms of like the game screen, looks pretty nice for the most part. Let's rewind that just a bit so you guys can see that. Yeah, I like the stadium in the background. That's always nice. I mean, you know, there's kind of an ode to old school PES, and where you can kind of just go into the stadium view and look at the custom stadiums and stuff, and you know, do the panoramic scene. So that's a nice thing. It's not quite panoramic, you know, but it's showing kind of like a nice little broadcast improvement, right? There's nothing wrong with that. And then here, of course, seeing the players with their shoes, or is that their shoes or whatever they get dressed in and whatnot. But that's a nice little touch. I do like this as well in terms of the matchup, knowing that, you know, who you're going up against, what kit they're going to wear. It looks like that's a kit selection screen as well. And it's a smart move. It's a nice idea. And then we've got some issues with the frame rates, but you can tell like who's who and what's going on. I do like the players warming up in the background. That's definitely nice. I mean, technically they shouldn't be warming up by now. They should be showing them, you know, as they're on the field, right? This is always weird to me to see this in the locker room, but I like the idea of it. I think it would be better if it was like in the tunnel, you know, something like that. And then, but at the same time, that's probably just being nitpicky. But let me go ahead and just put the volume down a little low here. And then, so here's the tunnel screen. So this is what I'm talking about. This is nice. So maybe they can add that in again. Probably a little bit longer with that, but that's totally fine. But this is where they could do the lineups right here, you know, just a little bit of the lineups, something like that. But again, that's being nitpicky. I mean, they can mix it up as well. That's really not the purpose of this video. I'm not going to analyze too much there. In terms of atmosphere, it's probably incredible. The graphics are probably going to, you know, make it stand out. It's typical Konami, right? It's like all the fluff and everything that always, it's like the calm before the storm, you know? And it does bring that sense of anticipation, excitement, but then you can already see it right now with the way that ball looks. It looks like it's just floating. But then here we go. This is the whole point in everything. First off for me, like right away, what's with the camera? Because I get it that they want to zoom in, zoom out. That's not quite what FIFA's doing, but they zoom in so much, and then they rapidly zoom out. It's kind of like, it hurts my eyes sometimes, you know, because it's like, it's trying to focus on a specific spot, but then it zooms out immediately. I guess that helps the player in some sense, but to me, it's just all over the place. And then now here, positionally, players are all over the place. We've got this thing where people are skating around. I mean, you can see it immediately, and just the ball coming here. And you see the defender right here, like he's starting to move, and he's trying to go to follow Cavani here, and then he's kind of skating backwards, and now he decides to go forward, and now you see that little move right there, just a little bit of a slide forward, and then a slide to the other side, and then now picked up on the back post. Now he's lost containment on the back post. And sorry, of course, it's the video that I downloaded, so it's going to be a little scrambly, but you guys can see my point there. It's just slidey from the get-go, you know, and that's something like PES shouldn't be doing that. I mean, that's something that people always said that FIFA does, right? FIFA still does it, don't get me wrong, but this is definitely something, it's kind of just shows what to expect in that way, because look at how, again, off the ball movement, like I've been saying for years, is kind of the culprit for PES. I'll say though, 2021 is actually decent, but it still had those moments. And the way this ball movement, and I don't know what you guys think about the physics, but to me it seems very like slippery, and then there's not much bounce to it. It's a bit strange. I'm kind of, you know, as I was watching this, I was like, man, this ball moves a little weird. Yeah, it's kind of like they're playing in winter on top of, like, you know, frozen pitch or something. Because the ball moves very, very like slippery. And yeah, there's something I've noticed there. And then this close control is nice and all, but my fear is that there's not going to be any crosses, like how FIFA is going for some reason. So you got to look out for that, because you'll notice that a couple times in which these guys should be crossing the ball in. Like here's an advantage play. This is a cross all day long. Why is he then dribbling on a straight line towards the 18-yard box? That didn't make any sense to me. Then here, yeah, that's probably just player switching. It's a nice idea, some variety maybe, but I mean, you got to wonder with some of the decision making from the get-go here. I don't know what difficulty is being played on. It looks like it might be on like top player or something, because it feels like there's a bit of a challenge, right? You can't just dribble past every single person, every single player there. And here's, user cross, and then I'm picking it up, and then it's kind of chaotic. The thing is, there's 4 defenders, 4 attackers right there. Our midfielder's not tracking back. I thought, this isn't FIFA, is it? So let's see here. We've got 1, 2, the Emil Smith Rowe, right? And then is that Saka? And then whoever else. But yeah, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4 defenders right there. Okay, that's probably Partey who comes back and clears it. But before that, that's like nobody was in the box to help out. Granted, they were probably on a counterattack of some sort, but still. Yeah, we gotta look out for that, because they start showing off FIFA moves where the midfielders get completely out of position. That's gonna be rough. The crowd in the background, you can say they're a little over dramatic, aren't they? And who knows what is with that tackle? He didn't even touch him, it looks like. That's okay. We know collision is one thing. There's a nice little transition there. It's a smooth transition, Again, the fluff though is been okay for Konami, but man, what is this? What is going on here? Somebody mark somebody. And they're all jockeying near, jockey, run. That was weird. You look at all these guys in the same animation. Pop, 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 and he's gonna turn. He's staying in goal. Again, sorry for the distortion. Let's go rewind that just again so we can watch it a little more clear here. Yeah, you see like the same jockey. I mean, okay, there's a time and a place, right? But I don't think your manager, if you're trying to defend and go get somebody, attack the ball essentially. I don't want you to be jockeying like that. And don't get me started on the limbs there. That was like a torn Achilles right there for Pogba. But that's okay. We'll continue on. And so this is pretty much how it's always looked. That's an interesting low ball. Again, jockey and no goal. It was a little chaotic. I mean, in PES, you always want chaos on the box. It's kind of what it was known for. I know I called it PES. I'm going to keep calling it PES, so that's not going to change. But that was a rapid half right there. A lot of things. I mean, I'm just reacting to it kind of like maybe my second time watching this. And some things I didn't catch before. Some things I did and just haven't brought up. But, I mean, we've already said enough about the color scheme. The color scheme with PES is weird. I'll just leave it at that. But again, a lot of the fluff, like the cut scenes, the, pans to the crowd in the background. I love that. I think they definitely will harness that environment. They should, after all. They've got these, licensed deals. They definitely should be able to do that. But the gameplay is strange. It's... like I said, the ball movement's a little weird. I can't quite figure it out, but it's definitely different. And then the player movement is definitely strange. And is that a cross? No, that's a low ball. So we still haven't seen an official high cross or anything like that. There was Tierney, and Tierney can cross a ball in pretty well. But still, it created a chance. Emil Smith Rowe there. But, we look at it here. Again, more off-the-ball movement. I know it looks like player switching because the user switched to McTominay. It kind of looked around really strange. One thing I noticed as well with the camera, instead of a cutscene, they just drop the camera down lower. I like that idea because it keeps it more kind of in the moment, And then it pans back and you can see the player still reacting. But here again, we've got players moving forward for no reason in this sense. So you look at the defensive line. So he's breaching. McTominay, I don't know where he's going. He's backpedaling backwards into into the top of the 18-yard box, even though he's defending. So where is he going? Where's he going? He basically could have just stayed where he was, and that shot may not have happened. So you see that kind of rubber banding, essentially. I don't know if rubber banding is the right word, but there's a stickiness to get pulled out of position, you know, and it's just a strange animation, and that's everywhere throughout the field. Like if you look for it, and something I've been known to do, I can definitely find it if I look for it hard enough, but it's definitely there. It's one of those things that I think will always be there with PES, or whatever the game's called these days, eFootball. And people don't think what such a big deal that is, because it moves players completely out of position. It's that overcommitment to two different directions. It doesn't make any sense. You know, there used to be, I mean, I think in 2021 there's actually a little bit more jog, but it's still pretty bad. The start, stop, stutter, you know, here we go. Are we going to see a cross? Nope, we're not. And the way the players move, there's a lot of sliding. Like, there's some missed animations there. They're moving quickly. So, like, the way this looks, even with Saka and how, you know, pretty brilliant he is as a dribbler, like, taking it on here, it looks like, see, there's like a skipped animation, like a foot plant that's missing, essentially. And you can see the defender as well, Wan-Bissaka, is also just kind of missing a step animation. You know, it's like they've skipped a little bit, so you can see right there, and then he makes the tackle. So there's some weird things going on. It's that the collision detection, they never actually meet, it seems, you know. And I bet if we went into replay and closed up, we probably wouldn't see them actually meet together. Now here's an opportunity again, and see, there's something as well that I'm noticing, and I'm trying to remember which version of PES this reminded me of, but these dribblers, the ball is directly underneath them. They're never, you can't really tell that they're actually in front, so it makes it look really weird. It makes it look like they're not actually like truly controlling the ball. It feels like it's just attached to them, like right there. Like if you look at this a little bit more, look how the ball eventually just stops, as if somebody just stopped it right here. Like, how can it still be rolling like that so slowly, and then the player just managed to do a step over or something like that? That ball stopped. Didn't I just say earlier how the ball seemed like it was loose and it was like on a frozen pitch? But then they're dribbling, kind of doing a little feint or whatever step over, and then they're actually, you know, the ball stopping as that's happening. It's really bizarre to me. So, you know, there's some weird things going on. There seems like something that PES has always been good at is ensuring that everything is connected, making sure the ball is a separate entity altogether. Now, there are moments in which it does seem that way, and I think they do that from the looseness, but then they cancel it out with the way the ball, you know, with the way you dribble it and how it's so closely attached to the player's feet. I mean, I don't know if they're taking grabbing a book out of FIFA's there. Grabbing a book, I don't know what I'm saying. You're grabbing something out of, you know, FIFA's book, but still, those are some scary spots there, because, yeah, the ball seems too far underneath them at times. So, in that sense, like, the way they dribble, it doesn't look right. But again, that might be a little bit more nitpicky. You probably won't even notice that as you're playing. But then, even right there, that ball just stops. And see here, the ball is kind of like just reminds me of like playing on AstroTurf, you know, like, because I coach little kids, little league soccer, and they play on AstroTurf, and it's weird. Like, the ball is very slippery in some spots, but then it just stops because it's stuck to all the the rubber beads underneath. Really strange stuff. In terms of the shooting, though, I'm a big reason I play on regular difficulty on 2021 is because I like the CPU shooting on there. And that, again, that wasn't the worst shot in the world. That was a little off the mark. I think that's Partey. I don't know my Arsenal players, so I apologize there, guys. Yeah. I mean, that was interesting, that shot. It was a low one, dipping and off the mark. But, another kind of chaotic half, maybe because it's only playing in 5 minutes and stuff like that. So, you know, overall, it is what it is, I guess. We're just going to rewind it. And, you know, that's my reaction. I mean, to me, it seems really strange in some respects. I just kind of, I don't know how I feel about the gameplay overall. Like, do I like it? Like, that's really where it comes down to. Would I play this? To me, no. I didn't like the beta or whatever it was. I barely played that. You know, I tried, but you know, there's just like a slippery kind of feel to it all. It just doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem like football, you know? It seems skateball. And it really pains me to think like that, because yeah, PES has definitely had its moments where it's kind of skatey. You know, PES 2018 comes to mind. PES 2016 came to mind as well with the over acceleration. You know, and then PES 17 was a lot better than that. PES 18 went downhill. 19 was a lot better. 20 was really good. 2021 was probably the best one. And so it's just like, what happened here? And was the purpose to make it feel like another game? Like, it has a lot of similarities in the sense to how FIFA looks slippery at times, but the difference is with what I'm seeing here is the foot planning. While it seems to be missing some frames, it's a lot smoother initially, but then relative to where the ball is, it doesn't make sense. And like, the ball can be underneath the player, like directly. Like, do you ever try, if you ever play the sport, you ever try to dribble with the ball directly under you? Like, it's impossible to do anything with it because you're literally going to trip on your own feet. So you put the ball, like, the closest you put the ball is like under your nose, right? And you don't really put it directly under you, like under, like, you know, your chin, essentially. And that seems like how sometimes the dribbling is. Like, it's so close that it doesn't make sense that the dribble should be to that level, like to that point. I don't know what frame of reference they've used there. The only time it looks somewhat natural is when they're sprinting with the ball, and you know, trying to explode with it. Another thing, of course, is the off the ball player movement. I haven't got into positioning yet, because positioning, that'll take a little bit of time. But I mean, you can look at the, you know, you can look at the radar. The radar will always tell you like what the positioning looks like. From what I could tell, it looked okay, but man, there's some weird things. Like, even I've just noticed this one right here, the center back covering the attacker. And apologies for the names and stuff. You know, it's early. I'm trying to get it all here. But how does the defender already know, you know, that the attacker is going to go back? Like, there is like some stickiness here. So like, running the same way. Nope, they're stopping at the exact same time, turning at the exact same time, right? So there's no way that you can see that defenders or players on the field are like anticipating, or that they are actually reading the game. There is such an automation to their animation, right? That the fact that they have eyes in the back of their head of where the ball is, essentially, and what is going on with it. So there's no real like actual response in that sense. There's no actual, you know, kind of just looking to see what the next play is, what the next move is. You know, you have to be 2 to 5 steps ahead at times. You know, there's no sense of that here. There's just constant like up and down the pitch, react to where the ball is, and then, you know, the player off the ball, they're stopping on a dime, and then they're exploding on a dime just as quickly. You know, it makes for a lot of chaos. It reminds me of PES 2016 in that sense. But, you know, maybe that's the direction. I mean, maybe that's what's easier to play. I mean, because, you know, would you have fun with this, right? End to end, is this like a one more situation? Like, can you play this game one more time? Like, for me, in the current state of like 2021, like, that game I cannot put down right now, especially with Virtual Red's patch on the PC, because it's just, I can't put it down. I play it pretty much all the time. A lot of exhibition. I've got a Master League. I can't put it down because of the believable moments, right? And yeah, it takes a little edits and whatnot, and I've got to play on a lower difficulty to make it somewhat realistic for the way the computer finishes and whatnot, but this is chaotic in every sense of the word, because it feels like the ball is so loose, but then it's also very, very tight. And then the player movement is, again, back and forth, slippery, skatey, just skiing around. It, like they don't know where the ball is at times. It's just all over. It's very, I don't know really if it's like Little League, like, because I'm playing youth league or youth soccer, but it's very chaotic in that sense. Like, there's no sense of build up. There's no sense of creativity. Like, Pogba's been on the pitch. What has he done? Right? Like, same with the Arsenal players. Like, really, what have they done? There's no real identity yet. Now, don't tell me it's tactics, because tactics don't even seem to be in this. So, and we know what tactics can do. A long ball passing to a 5-7 forward is not tactics, right? So, there's some weird things that I just can't really put my, put my foot on, I guess, if you will. And, it's got some legacy things, especially with the player moving back and forth, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Leave your comments below. I mean, so far from what reviews I've watched, when it first came out, and I didn't watch a lot, but some of the guys that I do follow, some of them are positive. Some of them are a little picky about the fluff stuff that I don't really care about, but I think are nice. But at the same time, some of it's a bit strange for me. There's just a weird feel. And maybe it comes down to the old saying, which I actually hate, is you have to play it to really, to analyze it or to know it. Like, to me, that's just silly, because you can watch the game of soccer in real life, on a freaking, TV, and you can analyze it from there. So what difference does it make if you're playing it in that sense, right? Because from what I'm watching of it, I can really feel how it would play out. Like, I can feel how slippery that ball is. And I think it does a disservice to the community to think that you have to play it to actually give an analysis on it. Because you can just see it right now. You can feel that ball being slippery. You can feel that ball being too closely controlled. There's strange things amidst with this game right now. And the way the stop, start, and the automation, like even right now, I just saw it again with the defender down. Look at Harry Maguire there. Whoop, start and stop. You can see him right down at the bottom of the screen, following Aubameyang, I believe that is. And he's just trying to go. Yep, where's he at? Okay, oh, fast sprint, stop, fast sprint, stop. Now jockey. Like, Konami, I know you guys don't listen. Japan, you guys develop these games with no community sense of feedback in mind. But you guys got to look at how defending, like you've got one of the best defenders, helping your game out. Like, would he be okay with how quickly a defender sprints, jogs, stops, jockeys? Like, it's so robotic. There has to be more anticipation. There has to be more calmness in defense. There has to be more calmness in the movement overall. It can't be from a sprint to stop. Like, you can see it all over the place. It's just a bit chaotic. It reminds me a lot of PES 2016 now that I talk about it a little bit more. Like, there is just a sense of just overcommitting in two directions is the best way I can put it. And it doesn't make sense. But anyway, guys, leave your comments below. I'd really like to hear what you guys think. I know, like I said, everybody's probably doing the same type of video, but I can't think about that because I'll never get something out for you guys if I just care about what the fact that people are on the scene and getting into it right away and whatnot. I want to get stuff out because I do have an opinion here, and I am going to be probably playing this game, and seeing if it's anything to be enjoyed or anything. FIFA will be coming out too, so I'll be busy with that. Madden's sliders are out. I'm very happy for the state of the game. So I'll be having a video out for that soon as well. Gonna get golf going, a True Sim Tour. I hope you guys have checked that out. I know if you guys are watching this, probably don't care about the True Sim or golf in general, but True Sim Tour on PGA 2K21 is so much fun. And I'll have some videos on that to kind of promote our new season that will be starting hopefully in the near future. But leave your comments below, like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. But as always, take care and stay tuned.